Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you all for attending. And in this session, we will be talking about, improving the blue team visibility. And actually, we're going to have a systematic approach to do that. My name is Ibrahim Shamrani, and I'm the Chief Security Officer in Hawaii, Saudi Arabia. So a little bit of background about the speaker. So as I said, currently I'm the Chief Security Officer at Hawaii, Saudi Arabia. Worked previously in multiple sectors like telecom, defense, and government. I led the national level cybersecurity monitoring team for 5 years here in Saudi Arabia. And, I'm proud that I have a cybersecurity degree from Georgia Tech. Some of the industry certificate, as you can see, and, the topic that I'm going to talk about it is something that I done it for multiple years. And this is like the summary of some of my recommendation and the knowledge that I would recommend others to do. So anyone working a fair size organization, I would say, he will know that there is a challenge in the visibility for the blue team. And those are for many reasons. So the first one is, the number of alerts that the team are receiving. So they are flooded by an alert. And the number of alerts in this case is going to be verified like from a small organization, around 5,000 to million or multiple millions in a huge enterprise or government organization. Second point is that, the cry wolf effect, which, you have to analyze the alert that you are receiving, and it's a huge number as we can see, and you have to give it the right prioritization based on the triage that you're doing. And some cases you may elevate it up and do not get it right, and after the investigations end up that it's not bad as you initially thought. And these are the very rare. And sometimes, the team will look that it's something, not that important. But, as part of the investigation, once it's completed, it's become huge and a big incident that the early detection of it or the alert did not reflect how bad is it. So this is the dilemma where you have to assign a prioritization for it, but you do not have the full picture. Third point, the asymmetric game that blue team and the attacker are doing. The blue team have to be right 100%, while the attacker or the cyber criminal have to be right once. If they find that single vulnerability inside in your network, and they being able to exploit it, that's it. They already compromise your network. While, as I said, the blue team, they have to defend the network 24/7, and they have to get it right. The fourth one is, the false negative challenge. So you don't know what you don't know, and part of that you do not know as a defender how much you are missing. And what we are trying to achieve through that, to this framework and this presentation, that we are trying to minimize that through a systematic approach that, you can repeat it and make sure that you do it correctly and you increase your visibility and maturity of the blue team. So with that, let's go to the approach. What is our approach? It consists from 5 steps. So we're going to be using MITRE attack framework it's the centralized of all the activity that we're going to be talking about it. And MITRE is a U.S. company that do research for U.S. government, and they have done a great job into mapping all the techniques and tactics used by the attacker or the known group and attacker there, to a single framework that show all the the technical means that the attacker used for those. Anyone who works in the industry may know that very well. But as I said, this is going to be the central of the presentation, and we're going to build on it our detection. The second step is that we're going to look to all the historical incident that we have, and this is going to be a backward look where we're going to see what we was able to detect and give that more assurance that you're going to continue detecting that. It's not something that is not consistent. Third one is we're going to look at all the possible threat actor and make sure that we map their tactics and techniques. And if they target your organization, you're going to be proactively able to detect them. As I said, if they target your organization. The fourth one, this is where the implementation stage come, and we're going to rely on, best practice come from Gartner, the research firm where, the visibility going to be based on one of three, pillars. The first one is the logs. That will be used either for the SIM or the user behavior analytics. The second one is, the network detection, where we're going to rely on the net flow and the network information. Third one is going to be the EDR, endpoint detection and response, where we're going to rely on the event and the detection on the endpoint level. These are the controls that we're going to build on the visibility. The fifth step here is not actually just to implement that, is to give assurance and make sure that the detection model or the detection that we build are working as expected and as planned. And this is going to be done through threat emulation, where we do that testing and make sure that the detection is there. So we're going to go now and deep into this. So as I said, MITRE is mapping the techniques that are used by the attacker. So, early stage, back 10 years or something, we did have the Lockheed Martin kill chain, which is the blue one here, and where they describe, the steps that taken by the attacker to be able to target your organization or your network and trying to accomplish their mission on that network. And they map it through the reconnaissance, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, control, execution, and maintaining the access. MITRE came after, and actually, they come up with their own framework where they separate it into stage. One is the pre-attack, and one is the attack itself. So the pre-attack is actually what the attacker are doing on, on his side to prepare himself to launch the attack. So that is something that you do not see it, and actually it's not going to be part of the discussion today. But the other part, which is talking about the attack, tactics and techniques. It's the one that we're going to build the detection and increase the visibility based on it. So MITRE start by the initial access and go through a different stage with which they call it tactics until the command and control and impact. So this is how their framework look like. And as I said, the official name for this is tactics, and these are the techniques. And you can see, like in this stage, the initial access, they have 9 techniques, and some of them have sub-techniques, like the phishing in this case. The beauty of this, actually, it's that, all the technical steps that been used by the attacker, and those attacks become publicly known. This is mapped to this framework, and they keep updating it, and they are doing a good job on that. So, without using the MITRE, you're going to build this your own self, and why to reinvent the wheel? And I know I'm describing this, and for the people who doing this for a living, working in the blue team, most of them will know MITRE. But as I said, it's going to be our roadmap to be able to increase the visibility. So you should know it, and you should use it to benchmark actually the improvement in the visibility that you're going to do. So with that, we're going to move to the next step. So this is, as we said, we said it's a backward look. So you're going to go to all the incidents that happened in the last, we recommend 12 months. And you're going to collect information about those. And you're going to break it down, all the information to the MITRE tactics, which stage in the attack you was able to detect, and which stage did the attacker go through it before you detect him. And if you're already using MITRE, so good job, that's going to make it easier. If you are not using MITRE, it's going to be a little bit of difficult, but try your best effort to map it, because it's going to help. Third point is actually mapping, those security event or incident to the techniques level. It's not just the tactics. And as I said, it will be easier if you're using MITRE, and it's going to take you some time to try to do your best effort if you are not using it as part of the current logging and incident management system. So this is, as I said, this is looking at the historical data. And this is like the end result of it, where you're going to have some of the techniques highlighted as those are the ones that used by the attacker previously inside your organization. Next step is that looking at what happened inside your network doesn't give you the whole picture. You have to be proactive. So this is a forward look, where you're going to be looking at all the threat actor that may target your organization, and collecting the information about those. And in this case, you're going to start by PIRs, which is stand for Prioritized Intelligence Requirement. We're going to set the direction of the collection of the threat intelligence. In this case, we are focusing on all the threat actors that may target our organization and what kind of motive and intent and capability they have. Second, you're going to collect the information about the possible, as I said, threat actors. And we already described this. Once you kind of have a good understanding for those threat actors, you're going to analyze and collect all the information about their TTBs that they use for the attack. The TTBs stand for Tactic and Techniques and Procedure. As I said, you either build this, if you have the capability, through your own threat intelligence team, or as part of the SOC team, or if you have, you're doing this through a third party or relying on open source intelligence, then, you're going to collect from different source. Last one, as I said, you're going to map those to the MITRE. You're going to have something look like, this. In this case, this example that I'm showing in the slide is about the Iranian APT and the TIMP group. As you can see, these are the techniques that they are using, and each stage it's been highlighted by the red color. So this is going to give you, as I said, a forward look and a proactive look about who may target your organization and what kind of techniques that they are using. Keep in mind that this is like a little bit different from, the green one that we take about the historical data. So we're going to move to the third step here. It's about the implementation. And as we previously described, that based on the best practices recommendation by Gartner, that each security operations center or blue team have to rely on three pillars to have the right visibility. And these pillars are relying on different information and way to give the blue team visibility, and this is why we treat each one of them differently. So the first one is SIM and the UBA, and those are mainly relying on the logs. So you can build, a correlation rule and threat cases where you're going to be able to detect. Second one is relying on the network information and network flow, and that's going to be the network detection and response (NDR). The third one is the endpoint detection and response (EDR), and this is going to be installed on the endpoint itself, and it's going to monitor all the event and all the activity on the endpoint itself. So these are the three triangles for the visibility. What we're going to do with this is, as we said in the previous two steps, where we look at the historical data and at proactively on the threat actor that may target the organization, and we come up with a list of techniques that they used that come as an output from each step. We can combine both in this stage. Second is that we're gonna map all those TTPs to one of the three controls that we already mentioned as part of this visibility triangle. We're gonna, from my experience, we should focus on two things: the effectiveness of the detection and the how easy is it. So the first point is the effectiveness is obvious, but sometimes you're gonna do the same detection through more than one control. So for example, like privilege escalation on the endpoint, you can have it through the logs that you're going to collect it from the endpoint, and it's going to go to the SIM in this case. However, it's much easier if if the EDR itself was the tools that that was used for the detection in this case. So as I said, it's going to be more effective and it will be easier. So in this case, you're going to rely on the EDR. I know that some of the the people in the field will say it's defense and depth and depth, and they're going to use more than one. I would recommend you to start with one. If you want to go to that later, it's your call. But as I said, select one. Another example is about the remote brute forcing on one of the system where the attacker will try to guess the password and send a lot of packet trying to log in from that system. As I said, you still can detect this maybe from from the endpoint itself, and maybe from the SIM in this case, or the UBA. But for NDR, because he can observe the traffic, and it's going to be clearly for him in some cases if it's not encrypted, and if it's encrypted, it's another discussion. But it's maybe more effective and easy to detect it through the NDR. So this is what I wanna highlight, that you're gonna come up to a certain decision where which one we're gonna use. Try to make it simple, and keep in mind that we're gonna test this later. So you will have a second chance to change it if you want. The third one is the implementation of the detection rule and these controls. So it's going to depend on which system are you using. And in the SIM, as I said, you may do a correlation rule to be able to detect it. In the endpoint, the EDR it may come up as a built-in detection model, or you may have to do a different detection rule. You may write your own YARA rules and implement it in one of these detection systems. As I said, it's going to depend, but make sure that it's there, implemented, and that system is able to detect that techniques if it's happened in the network. So you're going to come up, or as an output of this, you're going to come up with something like this, where you highlight by green in this case the techniques that he was able to map inside your network and able to have a detection method for the that techniques. And we describe it in steps, but the people who work in the field, then they know that this is very difficult and it's a long journey, and it's have to have the willing from the team and the persistent to be able to implement it, because we all work and operate with very complex infrastructure, and having that coverage and that assurance and that visibility is very important. And I saw organization done this, take him 1 or 2 years or maybe more to be able to reach a very good maturity for their blue team. So what I would say, the implementation is going to be a challenge. It's not easy, and I'm not saying it's easy, but as long as you get it right and you are keep moving in the right direction, you're going to increase your maturity and you're going to be doing a great job. So the last step that we're going to talk about it is, we done everything as a plan, but we will not rely on hopes. We going to be doing assurance for this, and we're going to do this through the threat emulation, where we have automation through done by the red team if you have that capability, and fire that testing. And this threat emulation, you can Google. There's a lot of them. Caldera is one by the MITRE, and there's other on the market. But it's very great tools that give you a high level of assurance in very short time, and you can easily repeat it, not relying on just the skill of the people that you have. It's actually it's firing which test you want at what time you want it. So the first step that we're going to go with it in this case, once you get the output from as I said, from the previous one about the coverage and the detection, that you're going to select one or more techniques in the same time to be able to fire it and run it on the machine and see the result. But be careful about that you start with a very small sample endpoint, or a test environment that you have in the beginning, so you do not impact the production environment inside your organization. Second point is actually those tested those techniques that you want to test them, is to run it on the machine, and through the emulation result, it's going to show you that it's been successfully executed. Third one is you're going to identify the visibility in the gap by collecting the artifact from the previous step, and seeing what kind of techniques that was executed inside your network, and your detection system did not have an alert for that. After that, for the gap and the techniques that you did not have an alert for, you're going to be you're going to go back and develop a detection method for those. And maybe you already implemented to have that assurance, and go back to make sure that it's working as planned. So this is stage number 4. 5 is actually it's a journey, and it's a progress. So you're going to be able to measure yourself and see the progress during the improvement of this visibility. And you should have something like this graph, where this organization start very low on the detection, and they was able in 2 years to reach like in some tactics 5, and like an average of 4.5 in the maturity of the detection and the visibility of the team. And that is very good number, by the way. But it's, as I said, it's not an easy job. This organization, in this case, it took them like 2 years. And regardless of how much it took this organization, you're going to work on your base. And some organizations do it quicker than others, and some of them take more. But the thing that I can assure you, it's not an easy job. It's not something that you're going to achieve it in a day or a week or a month or maybe 3 months or 6 months. It's going to be more than this, because this is challenging your own self and increasing the visibility of the team. So with that, this is the framework that we talk about it. We start with understand MITRE and use it as the hub to map all the activity for the framework. Second thing that we look at the backward all the historical data, and we understand what kind of tactics and techniques that was used by the attacker to the best of our effort. And then, we done proactive work where we map all the threat actors that may target our organization, and we understand what kind of techniques that used by them, and map those. And we use all those input to implement our detection through 3 different controls, as we describe. And the last step, as we said, that we provide this level of assurance through the threat emulation. And, we tested that all of our detection should be working as planned. So this is like, describing the framework in like the short time. And I would, say again that this is not an easy thing to implement, but this is the right step that I used, and some of the best people in the industry use to be able to increase their visibility. And they do not leave it as best effort; they map it to an international standard, which is MITRE in this case, and they deploy it and different controls. As we describe here, and they keep providing this level of assurance about testing those techniques, and assuring that their system are detecting those techniques every time they happen inside the network. Thank you all. This is we reached the end of this presentation. I want to thank you all for your time. And I hope that you learn something in this presentation where you can apply it inside your network. And I would assure you that keep doing it and keep improving your network, and you're going to increase the maturity and the visibility of your blue team, and you're going to be doing a great job. Thank you all.